What's going on, everybody? This is Mike with Film Facet, and I saw this coming. Willow will not return for season 2 at Disney Plus. Of course, there's conflicting reports coming out of Hollywood now. But I gave the show a fair shake. I watched 2 episodes. That's all I could stomach. The show is not made for the fans of the film. It's just not. Willow's in it. He's been reduced to a guest starring role. He's not the focal point. The title character is not the focal point of the show. That's a problem right there. We've seen Disney do this before. The Hawkeye TV show. The title character isn't the main character of the show. It's a female character. You line them up, you check the box. This is what they do now. It's not about storytelling. It's about pushing an agenda. And if I get hate for that, then I get hate for that. I'm a homophobe. I'm misogynist. I'm everything that's bad about human existence. Well, that's not true. That's just another agenda they're pushing. The bottom line is, because of the check boxes, the story is convoluted and contrived, and it's just not very good. They couldn't get Mad Mardigan on the show because Val Kilmer is not doing very well as far as his health is concerned. So they created another character to take his place. And actually, that's a good character. I like that character. That character actually has a personality. Unlike most of the cast of this show. Unlike any of the writers who were brought into the writing room to write this show, I don't think any of them have much of a personality either, or an imagination. They tried to appeal to a generation that's just not interested in Willow. Gen Z. From the corny modern dialogue that they wrote for this show, which is so cringy, it's not even funny. To, hey, at the end of each episode, during the credits, let's have some modern pop song play to even more appeal to Gen Z, even though Gen Z could give a shit about Willow. The title character, like I said, is reduced to a guest starring role in his own fucking show. This is another problem of modern Hollywood. It's called bait and switch. Where you you think you're getting something, but you're getting something completely different. And it's because of their agenda. Like I said, Hollywood, agenda above all else. Everything else is secondary. That includes the acting. That includes the directing. And that especially includes the writing. Bob Dolman, the original screenwriter for the film, was brought into the writer's room as a consultant. And what he saw was very disturbing. In part, he said that the studio kept meddling with the writer's process. They would not approve any scripts until every box was checked. Or should I say, every agenda box was checked. After you check all these boxes, you have to compromise with the story. You have to weave it all the way around, all these boxes you gotta check. And it just doesn't make for good entertainment. It's garbage. And this is what we get now. Modern Hollywood is just full of crap. And it's disgusting. What's more disgusting is established talent in that town has bowed down, has bent the knee for these progressive leftists that have this agenda and will always have this agenda until we do something about it. Okay? That's only part of this story. Okay? The Bob Dolman thing happened months ago. I read that in Variety before the show even went on the air. So I already knew that it was going to be garbage even before it premiered on the streaming service. But of course, that's not the end of the story. Because Lawrence Kasdan's son, who is the showrunner and the creator of this show, says it's not canceled after all. He had a lengthy 3-part tweet about it. And I'm not going to bore you with a lot of this stuff here. We're going to go down. Actually, I can't go down. I have to go to his page. So, let's go down here. And let's find where he starts talking about still looking. Sorry. This is what happens when you do this stuff live and you don't really do any editing. You kind of just do it on the fly. Anyway, in part, he says, a decision was made last week to release our main cast for other series opportunities that may arise for them in the coming year. With all the TV and movies in production around the world, it seems unfair to limit an actor's availability without a clear sense of when we're going to need them again. So, then explain to me The Mandalorian. Because, for one thing, Pedro Pascal is not told by Disney he can't do anything else. He did The Last of Us. So obviously, that's not the case. And I know these actors that are on The Mandalorian have contracts in place now. They were on hiatus for over a year. Contracts still in place. Because they fully expected to go back to do another season. Unlike what Kasdan is saying. He says they're not going to film it for another year. 12 months. Then why... Which is, the same pretty much situation that Mandalorian is in. But they didn't release the actors out of their contracts. Because The Mandalorian is going to continue. And Willow is not going to continue. This tweet is a gigantic lie by Kasdan. They have no intentions of ever going back into production with this show. So instead of coming clean, telling the truth, they decided to lie and save face instead. Until it'll get to the point where they'll be asking, well, are you going to do anything with this show? It's been 12 months. And then they'll finally say, oh yeah, it's not coming back. Well, why don't you just say that in the first place? Christ almighty, man. And then, because of all this, we are now getting backlash from progressives or people that identify as queer. The problem isn't that there's this representation, anti-representation trend. It's not. That's not what it is. This is false outrage. What this is, why these stuff keep getting canceled, is because people see right through it as it not being organic or not being genuine. The representation. It's all right in the front, throw it in your face. Like the first episode, there was a lesbian kiss right off the bat. There it is. There it is. There's your agenda pushing right there. So this is the problem I have with it. It's not the fact that there's gay characters. It's the fact that these studios go out of their way to click a box. It's like I said, it's not genuine. I don't believe it. They're there to just be there. You know, I didn't have issues with gay characters back in the 80s and 90s. Granted, it was few and far between, which was a problem, but also, they didn't throw it in your face, and they didn't put it to where that's all you saw. So, I don't agree with this. Willow's cancellation slammed by claims of pushing an anti-representation trend. The reason why it got canceled was that's a turnoff for a lot of people. And if it's there, they are not going to watch it. It has to be organically placed. Okay? And right now it's not. It's just beat you over the head with it. Okay? It's not genuine. It's an agenda. It's an agenda that these studios really don't agree with. But they're trying to please. They're trying to please the demographic that they hold dear, which is 18 to 34-year-olds. And who are those people? Well, they're the current generation, and they're the generation before. So Zennials and Millennials, this is the people they are trying to contact. And the rest of us are just along for the ride, I guess. We don't matter. Well, you should have put us in consideration when you decided to make Willow a TV series sequel. Because the movie is what fueled all of this. Okay? Its fans are fans of the film. And this show resembles nothing like the film. Nothing. And they wanted more of that. You know, I always said Val Kilmer dodged a bullet by not being healthy enough to do this show. His ex-wife wasn't so lucky. So when I see this type of stuff, our stories deserve to be told. Yes, absolutely. Your stories, not somebody else's. Okay? Not somebody else's. Make that stuff. Make your own IP. Make your own pop culture. It's there. And guess what? There's not enough of it for the current generation. There isn't. There's not enough original content for them. They don't have their own pop culture. Therefore, with the way Hollywood is set up now, the only way they can find, adequate representation is to put that agenda in established IPs that didn't have any of that stuff in the original content. Make your own stuff, okay? That's the problem. I mean, look at these. Here's shows that have failed already. Here is A League of Their Own. it's gay centered. Okay? When it wasn't like that in the film. You can go on down the list here. Okay? So, that's really what this whole thing is about. If you want representation, and I don't have nothing against it, I think I have people that I know that are in that community, and I care for those people. I want them to have representation, of course, but not at the expense of angering the original fans of already established content and IP. Make your own shit. It's not that hard. So, that's kind of it. And that's just make your own shit. And maybe you won't have stuff like this happen anymore. So that's really about all I had to say about it. I'm I just wish Hollywood would stop raping my childhood and then coming up with new stuff and then changing all of it to where it doesn't even look like the older content. The Willow TV show didn't look like Willow, the movie, at all. So again, yes, right here, reputation matters. Yes, it does. With your own content. So that's really where I'm at with it. Like I said, I don't have issues with the gay community. I actually like those people. But you need to have your own stuff. So maybe start a campaign instead of cancel your gays or reputation matters, save Willow. Yeah, look, A League of Their Own. Yeah, it got canceled because it didn't look like A League of Their Own. And that's it. And as far as that goes, see you next time.